Hello, my name is Josiah Barone. I'll be talking about leadership and my personal reflection of these past 8 weeks. A brief introduction to the interview that occurred for the final paper was Sergeant First Class Jacob Livengood has been well renowned recently in the ROTC community for making the transition from FORSCOM, which is active duty military, specifically in the Army branch, to TRADOC, which is training doctrine. And throughout this time, he spent over a decade in the infantry, and he's seen hundreds of thousands of countless faces and been able to instruct and guide them all as a ranger instructor at ranger school. He's been on multiple deployments, and it was pretty hard to get an interview with him, but it was well worth it because of the mental gemstones that he departed with, so that I could partake in and understand what it means to be not only a leader, a military leader, but a Christian military leader. So, my initial definition of a leader when it came to this class was someone who was decisive, professional, and clever. And throughout this course, I came to the realization of how limited that scope and that definition specifically was, because as the Kouzes and Posner model describes, there's more than one way to be a leader, and the 5 principles that they cover: modeling the way, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the process, enabling others to act, and encouraging the heart, really illustrates a web that connects all the world's greatest leaders and really reflects how Christ led the church into a new era with the Spirit within us. And, some people might say, no, that's, a very biased opinion, or that's a very narrow scope. But I would confidently disagree, because if you think about it, no matter who you are or what you do, if you're a leader, you not only have to be decisive and competent and know your craft inside and out, but you should also be willing to follow at times, because being a leader is not synonymous with being a dictator. It's more specifically being able to establish a positive relationship with those who you are responsible for, in order to educate and proliferate and make these people grow, spiritually, mentally, physically, and in every way possible, so that professionally results are achieved, and the result is completely transformational. It says in the Spirit that we are born anew due to the Spirit and what Christ has done for us. And so, to be a Christ-like figure, to be a true Christian and follow the Christ example, we have to be transformational leaders, encouraging those when they're downtrodden, specifically in very rough scenarios, like when your business is going under, or you've had rude customers, or you don't know how to solve a specific issue. And especially in the military, encouraging the heart and enabling others to act really go hand in hand. And when it comes to like challenging the process, I spoke with Livingood because the doctrine, dictates the base foundation, and it can never be taken away from. However, he noted that just because you have the doctrine doesn't mean you can't add to it or use it in your own manner based on this very specific situation that you're going to be in, because no two wars are the same, no two battles are the same. They can be paralleled and they can have patterns, but everything is different with its own right and aspect. The Ranger motto is lead the way. Rangers lead the way. And I wanted to figure out what that meant to Sergeant First Class Livingood. As a cadet, I've only been in like reserve components of the Army, and seeing his active duty insight really brought forth something in me, because modeling the way and leading the way are pretty tightly knit, because not only do they have to have great physical standards, but they have to know how to deal with hardships. They have to know what it's like to go to work when they're heartbroken, when their car won't start, when they might get evicted because they didn't get paid on time because of something that wasn't their fault. But they still have to show up and let the people know that despite the troubles that they're going through, they give it to God and that they can be more than they are. Because when you trust in the Lord, all things are possible. And that's where you begin to inspire a shared vision with no matter who you come into contact with. As a leader, it's really important to let them know that, hey, no one's life is easy, and some have it less fruitful an opportunity than others. However, luck isn't made. It's when preparation meets the chance to grasp something that you've never really had before. It was really interesting to hear about what he could talk about in terms of battle and combat, and how being a flexible thinker, being mentally adaptable, and understanding that there'll be undulating uh, ups and downs when it comes to everything in life is really what made him such a great leader, in my opinion, because of how honest he could be. Now, there were drawbacks in ways that he could improve. Specifically, he does have a very harsh tone. It's not exactly what he says that is, you know, directly negative, impactful, but it's what you feel like his attitude is sometimes. And that was one of the things that I pointed out. It's like, when you constantly run into this issue, then you have to put forth a real effort to fix it. And he appreciated the fact that I offered the tip to do routine counselings and coaching mentorships with his subordinates, so that he can understand them on a personal level and they can understand him on a professional level. And there would be a meeting of the middle that breeds, an optimum outcome. Optimal outcome. So, revising the definition of leadership, it's simply to be as Christ-like as possible. And people who haven't gone in depth in studying from the Old Testament to the New Testament wouldn't know that. So, following the five principles in the Kouzes and Posner model also allows one to take the right steps forward, encouraging the heart, enabling others to act, challenging the process, inspiring a shared vision, and modeling the way are very key when it comes to developing your subordinates, your peers, and performing for those above you. So I just want to thank you for your time, and on a personal note, reflecting upon where I was at the start of this course with my critical Christian value index, and realizing that my foundations were strong, but just because I had an understanding and a deep connection to it doesn't mean I was specifically practicing them 7 days a week, those necessary values. And from what I've learned, it's that it's so important to do something every day to help yourself, to help those around you, in order to progress and truly model the way as a leader, along with all the other virtues. So I want to challenge you today to do something every day that'll make you a better leader. My name is Josiah Barone, and appreciate you listening to my video.